Well, good morning YouTubers, and welcome back to the David Swordplay channel. Now, as promised, Brian and I are going to swap over bikes. I'm going to ride his 2025 Voge 625 DSX. So here we go. This is 63 horsepower at 9,000 RPM and about 58 Newton meters of torque at 6,500 RPM. So, here we go then. Now the seating position seems to be quite firm, and the suspension is very firm, needs a bit of tweaking, but the riding position is nice. Brian's put pull-back risers on it to move the bars a little bit backwards so that he can easily reach them. I'm not quite sure I like the pull-back risers. It takes you away a bit from the I like to be quite over the suspension so I can feel what's happening, but the engine is a lot more tractable than the 525 DSX that Brian used to own before this, and it goes around the corners very nicely. So yeah, it's got about 28% more power than the 525. And you can certainly feel it in its acceleration. Everything falls nicely to hand. So let's see what it's like through the twisties. Clutch is nice and light. Now, we're not going to take it revving it today because it's not really done any miles at all, but we're just having a general feel of the bike, and immediately you feel quite at home with it. It's very flickable, very agile. You can move it around with the cheeks of your bum. The brakes are nice and powerful. And the gearbox is very smooth. This is a twin cylinder 270 degree crank, 581cc engine, developing 63 horsepower at 9,000 RPM, and I think it's about 58 Newton meters of torque at 6,500 RPM. So it just puts it in a nice bracket, this bike. It's got plenty of power for overtaking on the motorway, and it's never going to set the world on fire, but it's adequate power, as Rolls-Royce used to say. But it certainly goes through the corners well enough. And it gets along the road very well indeed. There's a little bit of wind noise, but yes, very nice through the twisties. Like I say, I'd like to have to move my weight forward to make sure the front end, know what the front end's doing. But it's a very, very capable motorcycle, and it rides really well. It's got plenty of power from low down. So yeah, all in all, it's quite a bit an improvement over the 525, which is a great little bike, but this just makes it a little bit more fun. And I love that exhaust note, very nice, very nice. The seat is definitely on the firmer side compared to the old Motor Guzzi. It's definitely a firm seat. All the switches fall easily to hand. Now we have two modes on this bike. We've got an eco mode and a sport mode. I'll try and I'll just change the mode into sport now and see if that makes a difference. Now it's a cable throttle, so how they actually change that into a sporty mode, unless it's working on the electronic throttle, of course. It seems a tad more responsive, but I'll just get out of this 20 mile an hour zone, and then we'll gearbox is very easy to operate, very light. It's not got a quick shifter on it. As I say, everything's very light in operation. The brakes fall easily to hand. I think the 298 millimeter disc on the front with Nissan 4-pot calipers, and I think it's a 240 on the back with a single pot caliper, but the brakes are nice and sharp, and they seem to be retardation on them is nice. So yeah, it's certainly worth the £6,000. That's included on the road charges. It's a really well finished bike. You get a USB-C port on it, I think, and a cigar lighter type socket to power your accessories. Brian's fitted this BMW sat-nav on it, which is not standard. You can get the turn-by-turn sat-nav to appear on the screen if you use the Voge app. Now the screen is very nice and easily readable. That's one thing I didn't see. The indicator is still on, Brian just told me, and it's at the top of the screen, but that's one little niggle I would have to get used to it. So we're now in 6th gear, trundling along at 38 mile an hour, and we're doing just over 2,000 RPM, and it pulls away really nicely from that. So there's a usable spread of torque. I'm sure I'd have to tune the suspension for Brian, because it seems a little bit too harsh for me. But yeah, all in all, it's a nice riding bike. I mean, it's got 41mm KYB upside down forks, fully adjustable at the front, and a remote adjustable monoshock on the rear. It's equipped with 19-inch front wheel and a 17-inch rear on tubeless tyres. Gold rims, look really well. This is the Black Knight version of the Voge 625 DSX, and it's got Metzeler Torrance tyres on it, so the rubber's good stuff. So yeah, it's a really capable little mid-weight adventure bike. And I think the weight of this is about 208 kilos wet. It's got a 17.6 litre tank on it, and I would imagine that when they say the wet weight, that's without a full tank of fuel, I would imagine. But yeah, it's a really nice little bike and runs really well. I mean, what other bike do you get fully adjustable suspension on for £6,000? It's really, really well equipped for the money. Crash bars are standard. You've got spotlights are standard. A sump guard is standard. USB ports are standard. Centre stand are standard. And if you want full aluminium luggage, at the time of making this video, you can get full aluminium top box and side panniers for £699 with lined panniers. Now that is incredible value for money. And what else can you say? The finish on the bike is comparable with a lot of other motorcycles. There's nothing that's what I'd call shoddy on it. It's well finished. I mean, Brian's had heated grips fitted to this as well, and handguards are standard. The switches are backlit. Now there's only some major manufacturers like Triumph and Ducati do backlit switches. I think Benelli do them as well. So why can't everybody do backlit switches? Because they're such a useful thing at night. So there we go. What else can I tell you about? It has an adjustable windscreen. I think it's in the up position at the moment. And there's no buffeting at all. I'm feeling a bit on my my shoulders, but other than that, but it's such a tractable little engine. It's very impressive little engine. And as I say, gearbox is a joy to use. It's not got a quick shifter on it, but really nice, really nice. I think we're going to put it back in eco mode. The throttle does become a little jerky in sport, but that's only to be expected really, because very few bikes when you put them in sport lose a bit of low end throttle control. But as I say, it's just a nice little motorcycle. I would certainly not jib if somebody wanted to make me a present of one of these. So yeah, all in all, it's very similar to the 525 in a lot of ways. I think the swinging arm is slightly different, and the monoshock is mounted differently from the 525. But other than that, it's a really great little motorcycle. Now Brian tells me it cruises at about 17 miles an hour and you're at about 4,000 RPM, which, considering when it's running you can run it to 9, that gives you a lot of options for overtaking on the motorway. But round town it's very agile, very light. As I say, if I had one criticism, it's that the lights, the repeater lights on the dashboard are quite dark and it's a bit difficult to see them. when you're in sunlight. So you just got to make sure that you remember to turn them off. The clutch bite is a little bit, takes a little bit of getting used to. So there we are, folks. A really nice motorcycle. The Black Knight edition of the Voge 625 DSX. And I would recommend it. It's a really nice bike. The engine's got a nice growl to it. As I say, everything works really well. So what more can you want, really? So yeah, very good bike. You would not be disappointed with this. For £6,000, as I say, excellent value for money. And just remember that the parent company of Voge, Longines, build BMW's twin-cylinder engine for the F800 GS, F900 GS and 900Rs, all of these Chinese-built engines. So they know a thing or two about building motorcycle engines and motorcycles as well. So yeah, very pleased with this. Now I thought the seat would be uncomfortable because it was quite a firm seat compared to mine on the Motor Guzzi, which you know is all day comfortable, but it actually isn't. It's not too bad at all. They've moved the foot pegs forward a little bit on this to give you a more relaxed riding position as opposed to what it was actually on the 525. So it's yeah, all in all the lights are LED, indicators are LED. It has a front camera on it, which you can put an SD card little box under the seat, which will record any incidents that you might be involved in. But yeah, such a lovely bike, very nice. I don't think I found one thing I don't like about it except for those repeater lights on the indicator. Like I say, the dash is very readable, although it does take a little bit of fiddling about because, as you know, you don't get an instruction manual anymore. They tell you to download it off the internet, and some of the operations are described have been translated from Chinese to English. Don't quite read how they should, but that's nothing unusual. But yes, very nice. Now the passenger seat is quite comfortable, so I would imagine you'd be able to tour two up with this quite easily. There are two colours, the Black Knight and I think it's the Desert Sand. I'd prefer the other colour. Brian doesn't really like black bikes, but because of the gold wheels he chose this colour. So yeah, all in all, a great bike. There's not a lot more I can say really. It's chain drive. I'm not quite sure of the fuel consumption, but I'm sure it'll be well into the 60s. We'll just swap it back into eco mode, which you can do on the run as long as you back off the throttle. So yeah, very, very nice. So if there's any questions you've got about the Voge 625 DSX, pop them in the comments below and I'll try and answer them for you. But if you're looking for a 63 horsepower mid-weight adventure bike. As I said, I think the weight of this is 208 kilos wet, but not with a full tank of fuel. So, you know, it's going to be compatible with the other bikes in this price range for touring. You know, once you've got your luggage on and your wife or girlfriend on or whatever, I'm sure you'll have enough power to pull up and down hills easily. So yeah, I would certainly consider one if I didn't have the Fantasma di Oreo. I'd certainly consider one. As I say, there's so much that's standard on this and not optional extras. You know, if you compare this to an Honda Transalp, for instance, now that's about, I don't know, £10,000, is it? With no USB port on it, no handguards, and I believe it doesn't have a sump guard on it. So all that is extra. So it's certainly worth considering if you want a bike for a reasonable amount of money. This is definitely worth thinking about. It's a good little motorcycle. Now, Brian's had his other 525 for a while, had no issues with it at all. It ran perfectly well, and he was very happy with it. So I'm assuming that he'll be the same with this bike. So there we are, YouTubers. Great little bike. But yeah, it's an absolutely wizard little bike, and I don't think you'd be disappointed if you bought one. So there it is. This is David Swordplay saying thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video.